55 Pioneers Boulevard. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with the child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
93.7 The Ticket Sports News go now.
I'm Enrique Alvarez-Clary.
Wooster will run the baseline. He'll lob it in. Buchtenjel with the catch. Buchtenjel with the shot for the tie. No, and Michigan comes on the road and knocks off the Huskers.
Nebraska men's basketball gets into a knockdown, drag 'em out, back alley brawl with the Michigan Wolverines and falls 49-46. The Huskers dropped to 17-11 overall and 7-10 in the Big Ten with the loss, dropping them into a tie for 10th in the conference standings. Bryce Williams did all he could to drag Nebraska to a win, pouring in 26 points on 9 of 21 shooting. No other Husker had more than 2 made field goals, with Sam Hoiberg being the next leading scorer with just 6 points off the bench, hitting his only 2 shots from three-point range. There seemed to be a lid on both baskets, with the Wolverines shooting 29.5% from the field, 18% from deep, and only 61% from the free throw line. Nebraska couldn't do any better, hitting only 25.8% of their field goals, 21% from three-point land, and only 67% from the charity stripe. The Huskers look to right the ship on Saturday, March 1st, when they host the Minnesota Golden Gophers. That game tips off at 1 p.m. inside PBA and can be seen on the Big Ten Network. Nebraska volleyball will take part in the AVCA First Serve Showcase for the second season in a row to start off the season. However, this time, they won't have to travel far, as it'll take place inside Pinnacle Bank Arena. It was announced yesterday that the First Serve Showcase will actually feature 10 teams over the course of 4 days in 2 different venues. From August 22nd to the 24th, Nebraska, Creighton, Penn State, Stanford, Pittsburgh, Florida, Kansas, Vanderbilt, Minnesota, and Texas A&M will take part in the event. The Sanford, Pentagon, and Sioux Falls, South Dakota will cap off the showcase with 2 matches on the 24th, featuring Minnesota taking on Texas A&M and Kansas facing the defending national champions, Penn State. Nebraska and new head coach Danny Busboom Kelly will open their season versus a familiar opponent, the Pittsburgh Panthers. The Huskers will also take on the Stanford Cardinal, while Creighton opens their season versus Penn State. General public tickets will go on sale March 14th. For more information, check out Huskers.com. And for all the latest sports news and updates, keep it tuned right here to 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker, who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. I walked in to The Ticket today, and Jake, you can verify or you can undercut me. Whatever you choose to do is fine. Verify. And I walked in here with like my normal athletic black pants on that I wear like every day because they're comfy and I don't care how I look. And no coat, no sweatshirt, no long sleeves. Like it feels like spring to me.
That's right, you did.
With like, I'm walking around yesterday and I'm like, holy crap, spring is awesome. Oh, wait, it's still February. I think when you have like, what was it, -9 last week at one point, -6? My parents text me, like, there's a -24 there. I'm like, no, it's not quite Antarctica just yet. Although I have family who live in Montana. If you look at the state of Montana, right in the middle is this tiny little town, Lewistown, Montana. It's where my mom grew up. My sister lives there now. And they tell me that frequently in the winter, it's not uncommon for it to be negative 20, negative 30 degrees. Like, that's pretty typical where they live. Like, they're legit, like, in the heart of the mountains. Like, right out my sister's window is a whole bunch of wilderness and mountains, and my mom grew up in a log cabin. So I'm like, hey, what's the coldest it's ever been? I asked my grandma and grandpa Warner back when they were around, and they're like negative 50. I reached negative 50 one time. I was like, good. And you choose to live here? It's beautiful in the summer. It is. It's absolutely gorgeous. Every summer we would go to my grandma and grandpa Warner's log cabin that my grandpa built in 1947 on the side of a mountain, 6 miles outside of teeny tiny little Lewistown. Had 100 acres of wilderness that when he passed away in his will, he put, he left us some folks, and he said, you cannot cut this down. So that forest will never, ever be cut down. There's a lot of loggers who are really mad because that's a lot of money left right there. But last week, all right, obviously a little bit chilly around here, but now it feels like spring to me. I know it's not real. I know it's a facade. I know there's going to be another snow blast, but right now I'm walking around like it's freaking April or May. I got pants on, so I can't say June or July. I'm hot-blooded. I would never, ever wear pants in June or July. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7. The Ticket. You guessed it. We got a loaded show today. Nebraska men's basketball sets a couple records. I don't know if they're, I don't know about records, but season achievements they hadn't achieved all year. Unfortunately, fell a little bit short. I don't know if they're excited about some of these achievements. Low scoring, close, highly contested, shall we say, defensive basketball game. Last night, number 15, Michigan comes out on the winning end. Nebraska had a couple of chances with a couple of late possessions. Actually, a pretty good look at a last 3-point shot after pretty much a 3/4 of a court. Really good pass and catch. Like, Dylan Raiola had to be jealous of that pass and that catch. Got a good look, couldn't put it in, but we're going to talk Nebraska basketball. All right, the draft that we have discussed yesterday is going to be put off till Thursday as far as people here at 93.7 The Ticket, if we're doing flag football for the spring game or what the spring game would have been, or if it's 7-on-7, whatever that is. We were going to do a draft today of everyone here at The Ticket. It's going to get put off till Thursday, and here's why. We got some other sports to talk about as well. Some other random things to talk about as well that I hope you folks find interesting. We've got 11 clips to get through. 2 more clips that I found very intriguing from Troy Dannen's interview. Probably do that around in about 15, 20 minutes. And then Matt Rhule did an hour-long interview with Josh Pate. And I think we played one clip from that a week and a half ago. I went through that whole thing, and there was a lot of good answers in there, but there was 9 things that stood out to me. So we legit got 9 clips from Matt Rhule's very, very good interview with Josh Pate. Abby Barmore is going to be joining us at 12:30 as well. All right, the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. What you're going to hear is Husker sports, college football, and sports in general. What you're going to get, unique insight, unbridled honesty, and producer Jake and I are going to have a whole lot of fun in the process. So here's a couple things right out the gate before we dive into Nebraska basketball. I saw this on X, and I thought it contained a minute amount of humor, but the Chiefs' three-peat Super Bowl gear has been sent out to people in need in Ukraine, Mongolia, I said Georgia as well. Estonia, and Latvia. I'm not sure how to say that. I hope that's right. Every year, the NFL sends out the gear of the losing team to people in need worldwide. The person commented below and said, update, the shipment has been intercepted by Cooper DeJean.
Oh, nice.
Cooper DeJean strikes again, ladies and gentlemen. And then it was, let me see here, Xavier and Butler. This was a game like Friday, Saturday, sometime late last week. Someone screenshotted the box score with just like a minute or 2 left in the first half. It was an exact match. Everything was an exact match. The score was 19-19. Field goals, both teams 8 of 15. Field goal percentage, both teams 53.3, 50.3.3. Both teams were 3 of 7 from three-point land. Three-point shooting percentage, 42.9 for both teams. Free throws, 0-0. Free throw percentage, 0-0. Both teams had 7 rebounds, 1 offensive rebound, 6 defensive rebounds. Jake, what are the odds of every single thing that deep into a game, almost halftime, matching up perfectly in a basketball? What are the odds of that?
Very, very low. I saw that too. I was surprised. You almost have to try to do that in the final minutes, right? Like, try to even it out.
I just thought that was very, very intriguing. All right. What are your thoughts, Jake, on preseason rankings?
I actually like them. I always like things that are kind of historically put there. Do they matter early on? Not so much. It's just kind of discussion. I don't feel like they have by the end of the season too much of a long-term effect. And I know some people want to argue that when the first college football playoff rankings come out or something like that. But I think they're mostly for fun. But I wouldn't get too frustrated with them. Some people want them eliminated altogether. I think that would just kind of take out some of the fun that we have historically.
So I agree with everything you said. It's something I look forward to. Who's preseason this and who's preseason that, and where's Nebraska looking, and Big Ten teams and how many are ranked. It gives you something to look forward to, be excited about. The accuracy of these things are just absolutely atrocious. I mean, you look at the preseason top 10 in college basketball. Number 1, Kansas isn't even a top 25 team anymore. Number 3, UConn, way out of the top 10. A lot of these teams, let me correct myself. Half of the men's basketball preseason AP top 10 is now unranked. Kansas is outside of the top 10 in men's basketball, top 25 in men's basketball for the first time in like 40 years. But they were preseason number 1, not ranked. Number 3, UConn, 2-time defending national champ, not ranked anymore. Although I think it was fair to have high expectations for UConn. Number 6, Gonzaga. This one hurts me. I've always rooted for Gonzaga. I like the little guy. Spokane. Grew up 2 hours from Spokane, Washington. They're no longer ranked. Number 8, Baylor. Number 9, North Carolina. No longer ranked. Half the preseason top 10 not only is not in the top 10, they're not even ranked. Now, that being said, I still like, they have no place, and I still like it. For reasons that Jake said, for reasons that it gives you something to look forward to. Now, I'd have no problem if they did away with it, because a lot of it is anticipatory. It is preconceived. It is based on your expectations versus reality. And so a lot of times teams will get this Rolodex of ranked wins of teams that they played early on, then later on in the season, that team's not even ranked anymore. So it skews strength of schedule. I think, like with the SEC, they have all these preseason ranked teams, and they get all these ranked teams, ranked wins versus each other, and they look way stronger. And the SEC is a good conference. I'm actually going to say they're a good conference. Let me repeat that. They're a good conference. They're just not what they think they are. But then they get all these ranked wins, and it throws everything out of whack when you're actually looking for accuracy and strength of schedule and how good teams are and how good the teams are that you beat and or lost to. So for me, I like preseason rankings, not because they're legitimate or they should exist. They're just exciting. They give me something to look forward to. Oh, this team's ranked against this team. You know, like if I'm watching number 1 Kansas in the preseason versus number 3 UConn, that's exciting. But if I'm watching UConn versus Kansas, that's exciting, but number 1 versus 3 makes it more exciting. Does it make it more real? Probably not. That's okay. I like pro wrestling. At times, I like to live in an alternate reality. All right, and you probably saw this, Jake. Mike Woodson, coaches from the chair, this is like a couple days ago, that Bob Knight was ejected for throwing across the court 40 years ago. Do you see this?
I did not see that.
So they played the clip, and Bob Knight just launches this chair. Is in the 80s, across the court. He's mad at the refs. 40 years later, so someone held on to this chair for 4 decades. That was the most amazing part of this to me. And then Indiana's current coach, Mike Woodson, on the 40th anniversary, 40 years later, coached from that same exact chair this past weekend in an Indiana basketball game. All right, let's dive into it. Michigan, Nebraska basketball. Jake, you started off. What do you got?
Well, it was certainly an ugly game as far as points. Good shooting. I mean, both teams are actually under for as low scoring a game it was, and obviously Michigan ends up winning 49-46. And I think it was the 3rd time, and I'd have to go back look at the stats. It's not very often a Big Ten team wins while scoring under 50 points. But the turnovers, actually, Michigan and Nebraska had less turnovers in this game than their season average. So it wasn't even like the overall game was just bad. It was just the shooting. It was just getting the ball in the bucket. But I mean, obviously, it like you said to begin the segment, they had a couple good looks at it. Connor Station with a 3. And I know some people say, well, you should have drove, or we should have found a better shot.
We're going to discuss that possession, but go ahead.
Well, speaking as a guy that shoots threes and doesn't do
you make them?
Yeah, I make threes.
Oh,
I don't do anything altogether a whole lot better. And Connor Station has sit in this room and said, my Division I skill is shooting threes. That's what got him here. That's why he plays for the Huskers.
Are you saying you could be in the NBA, you shoot threes and do nothing else? Is that what you're saying, Jake?
No.
All right, go ahead.
I am a much worse version. What do they call it? The poor man's version of Connor Station, maybe, if you would say that. But to a men's rec level. But in any case, I don't have a problem with an open 3 from your best 3-point shooter. Because again, many times that can be a better shot than him driving and trying to find something to do with it. And then, like you said, Brickhead got a good shot at the end. He finished 0 for 10, so it's kind of rough coming back for him. But This was a game Nebraska needed. Bryce Williams definitely carried the team. It's amazing. I would say he's probably had the best season at Nebraska basketball since Tran Petaway. You've had, Casey Tamanaga, Derek Walker, guys that have been all Big Ten, all league performers since then. I would still say it's as good. James Palmer, I think it's his best season since Tran Petaway. And he just needed some help. I mean, there's no other really way to put it. He just needed somebody else to help. Juwan Gary's been that guy. He was 2 of 13 from the field. Like I said, Berke in his return, which was huge on the defensive side of the ball, got some big blocks, was a big presence in this game, but offensively couldn't get it going. It's just frustrating. Nebraska had their looks, had their opportunities. And again, as ugly as it can be, and as much as you could say that's not the best basketball, they were 3 points, a shot or two away from getting a top 15 victory. And unfortunately coming up short. And this one we talked about the other day would have all but punched their ticket to the NCAA tournament. Now they're squarely on the bubble and going to have to fight to get in here.
So what do they have to do to get in your opinion? Because you said if they won, they were in. Now they've lost. Now what do they have to do, in your opinion, to get in? Do you need a minute to pull up the schedule?
Well, there's still, I know there's still, hanging on by a thread on the bubble count.
17-11 on the season, 7-10 in conference.
Which means a lot of it is just, what are those other bubble teams around them going to do? So it's really hard at this point to kind of break it down because you don't have another great, opportunity at a huge victory that would propel you in these final weeks. And we'll see what happens in the Big Ten tournament. But you got to figure they got to win, at least 2 games remaining. One in the Big Ten tournament would definitely help. Would kind of keep you on the bubble. 3 games, I think, would really favor you down the stretch.
So they have 3 regular season games left. Is that correct?
Yeah.
You won all 3 of those. And we've always said the magic number is 22 to feel like you're definitely going to be in. That would put them at 20. Then they'd have to win 2 Big Ten tournament games. I don't know that they have to win like the next 5 games in a row. I do feel like they got to win 2 out of 3 and at least 1 Big Ten tournament game just to have a chance. I mean, what do you think? So 2 out of the next 3 and then at least 1 Big Ten tournament game. That just gives you a chance. If you win all 3, 1 Big Ten tournament game, you feel pretty good. You win 2 out of 3, you win 2 Big Ten tournament games, which is even the better scenario. The better you and deeper you go in your conference tournament, the more that's going to matter to people. All right. But what do you think about that? They have to win at least 3 more. 4 more, you feel pretty good. Anything under 3, you're hurting.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that. And I think it's going to be tough. Again, Minnesota, at Ohio State, and Iowa to round it out. That they'll be in the Big Ten tournament. They're 7-10 right now in conference play. So as far as getting to 500 in conference play, they would have to win out. That would, I think you'd be pretty, like we said, you'd be pretty solid from there. But I think we're all just going to have to hold our breath and kind of see what happens. Again, a lot of it depends on how the strength of the bubble, right? Nebraska's squarely on the bubble. So how do these other bubble teams do? If they can get some big victories down the stretch, that can knock Nebraska back. But you can only do what's in front of you. They've got Minnesota coming up on Saturday. Winnable game at home. Got to take care of business. And this has been a team of a lot of ups and downs. So it's like, okay, here's the stretch. You got to win 3 or 4 or whatever. Certainly can do it, but the confidence meter is just wavering a little bit. But again, I understand there's frustrations with the up and downs. As much as they struggle offensively, they were still that close to beating Michigan, who is on top of the Big Ten conference standings right now, tied with Michigan State.
You never know what can happen. There's a stretch, as we all know, where they lost 6 games. There's a stretch where they won 4 in a row. They won 5 out of 6. I felt like of the past 3 games they played, actually, Northwestern was ugly for 25 minutes. They found a way to win with a great 15 minutes and come back on the road. Then Penn State just was what it was. And then Michigan, I thought they actually played better as much as they wanted to take the lid off the hoop for them. They played better as an overall whole type performance versus Michigan, despite the loss, than they did versus Penn State or Northwestern. Last 3 games, as you mentioned, Minnesota, Ohio State, and our good buddies from Iowa. All right. Couple of tweets here. Wade Stange says everyone will be blaming that last possession, not the full court heave, the actual possession where Bryce kind of drove to the paint area and then dished it out to Connor. Everyone will be blaming that last possession. Connor is our 3-point shooter and simply missed the shot. If he makes it, he's the hero and Fred's a genius. Where we lost the game was in the paint. Michigan's 2 7-footers caused us fits. They really shut off Juwan Gary's offense. James Perch, who contributes to CarrikerChronicles.com in a couple of ways. He does a phenomenal job, day-by-day podcast. said, I miss rink mast on the floor for Nebraska. And I'm only going to mention this because this was the tweet connected to it. Completely unrelated, yet this is a general sports show as well. The Los Angeles Chargers are expected to release Joey Bosa before free agency begins. I know that's not the topic we're talking about, but it's literally 2 tweets in one when I screenshotted that. So just throwing that out there. Commanders, get you Myles Garrett, get you Joey Bosa, get you 2 guys coming off the edge. Take advantage of a rookie quarterback who's playing at a top 5, top 10 elite level, but he's on a rookie contract. Spend some money. Let's make a run. Let's go, boys. All right, back to Nebraska basketball. I hated that possession where Bryce Williams, who is our best player, who is our best shooter. Connor Essegian's a good shooter, good 3-point shooter. But it's not like he's Steph Curry. Like, he's averaging 11 points a game. That's good. That's not great. Okay. If he's wide open and Bryce just has nowhere to go and you've been trying to get to the hoop, I see it. That's not what happened. Bryce got the ball, drove, and immediately dished. And, I mean, it was a long – that's my other issue with it was a long three-pointer. I mean, we're not talking like Steph Curry, I'm 10 feet in front of the half-court line, but he was a few feet behind the three-point line. To me, that's a long three-pointer. When you've got more time on the clock, you got the ball in the hands of your best player, one of the top 3 scorers in the Big Ten, the only guy who's been able to make anything all night. Nobody else made more than 2 field goals the whole night for the Huskers, other than Bryce Williams. 2 field goals. One guy had 6 points. I would think it was Hoiberg. A couple of free throws, 2 field goals. That was it. Everything else was Bryce Williams. Go to the hoop. You're a 90% free throw shooter. Go to the hoop. Okay, go to them, go through them, get downhill like a running back going through the hole and go to the hoop. Get a close shot or get fouled and take your 90% free throw shooting rear end, which I love, by the way, Bryce Williams, and go to the free throw line because I like those odds. I like those chances. Connor Essegian's a good shooter. He's a good 3-point shooter. Don't like the possession. I was amazed at our last possession where we chucked it. Great pass. Great catch. The Michigan guy was right there. And we got a pretty decent good look. It didn't go in. I don't know what more you can get out of that particular possession based on the time and scenario and situation. I actually thought we got a great look. Either one of those shots go in, we're having a different conversation today. All right, a little bit of a breakdown, more of a breakdown of the game. I mean, you disagree with that, Jake. I get it. For me, it's about percentages. The closer you get to the hoop, the better the shooter the ball's in the hands of, the higher the percentage. I mean, this isn't rocket science here. The higher the percentage of the ball going into the hoop or getting to the free throw line, and then you got a really good free throw shooter who'd be going to the line. Okay. Nebraska falls, as we know, to 4-4 against ranked teams, as Michigan was number 15 in Monday's AP poll. Nebraska held Michigan to a season low, 49 points, as its previous low was 62 against Michigan State on February 12th. The 49 points allowed were Nebraska's second lowest total of the season. Nebraska held Michigan to a season low, 29.5 shooting percentage, as Michigan's previous low was 36.1 against Northwestern. Nebraska's 46 points was a season low. All right, their previous low was 52 at Michigan State. Bryce Williams has now been in double figures in 26 of 28 games this season, including his 15th 20-point game of the year. Williams finished with 26 of Nebraska's 46 points. Williams became the 32nd player in school history to go over 1,000 points as a Husker. With his jumper at the 15:50 mark of the second half, he is just the 4th Husker to do it in 2 seasons or less, joining Taryn Petaway, James Palmer, and Dave Hoppin. Now, Williams now has 1,004 points in Nebraska and 1,805 career points in college. Williams tied a career high with 4 3-pointers. He had done it in 7 other times his career. Braxton Mia had 8 rebounds to surpass his season high of 7 in Northwestern on February 5th. All right, Fred Hoiberg afterwards, and I quote, "I am proud of the team. I'm proud of the guys for going out there and giving us a chance when you had about as poor of an offensive night as you can possibly have. The ball doesn't go in the basket. It's not easy to continue to go out there and have a spirit defensively, but our guys fought like hell all game long to keep us in the game. We give ourselves a chance where we get a great look on a possession where there's under 20 seconds. I'm proud of the guys, of the way they went out there and fought and battled. And if we play like that with the type of energy we're going to be fine. We're going to be just fine in these last 3 games headed into the postseason. That's what we have to understand. That's who we are. Unfortunately, we don't have a ton of shooting on this team. We have to stay in the games and give ourselves a chance with our defense. That's been our identity when we played well. That is what has won us games. I think without Bryce Williams and then Sam Hoiberg, who went 2 for 2, we went 5 of 39 with the rest of our team shooting. That's not going to happen, especially when we had some point-blank ones right there at the rim. I thought we had some good looks. I'll go back and watch the film. But we had some shots from guys that will 100% have them take those shots. Again, if we play with that type of energy and that type of spirit, we'll be fine. If we fall off with our energy, we're going to struggle. End quote. Unless you got anything else, Nebraska basketball-wise, we will go ahead and head to break. Jake, you got anything else?
No, just agree. At this time, your identity is, you kind of know who you are, and that's their identity right now. They've lost 3 of 4 now. So again, going down this 3-game winning streak, you kind of felt like they got out of that 6-game losing streak, you had put this win tear in a row. Now you've lost 3 out of 4. The one game you did win, like you said, might have had the ugliest half of the year. So they're not getting hot at the right time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, a couple other Husker sports that I didn't get to yesterday that I want to give their just due for at least a few minutes, and then we're going to break down the rest of Troy Dannen's interview and head on into Matt Rhule's interview as well. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Husker fans, excited for some softball action at Bowlin Stadium this year, but can't commit to a full season ticket? They've got you covered. Introducing the On Deck Deal. Snag tickets to 5 Husker home games for as little as $30. This partial season lets you choose any 5 games, including one from the Maryland series. Whether you prefer general admission or reserve seating, packages start at just $30. Get your on-deck deal today at huskers.com/tickets.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Hey volleyball fans, this is Laura Dijkema, national player of the Netherlands and now the setter on Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering for us in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action. Go Big Green!
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in the winter, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep your clubs out year-round. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues begin in February. Get signed up today. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex at West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
In today's digital world, you can never be too cautious when it comes to your security. Cyber attacks are affecting more businesses every day. At Hamilton Business Technologies, we understand the stress and impact a cyber attack can have, not just on your bottom line, but on your ability to serve your customers and protect their trust. That's why we are passionate about safeguarding your business. From real-time threat monitoring to advanced security protocols, we help keep your data safe, allowing you to focus on what matters most. Hamilton Business Technologies, real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Psst. You know what's better than waking up early to go to the airport? Sleeping in. Lucky for you, the lines at the Lincoln Airport are so short and our service is so fast. You won't need to sacrifice precious beauty sleep to get here hours before your flight. So, go ahead, sleep in. You deserve it, and choose the airport that helps you relax. LNK, make flying easy.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at doorsplusllc.com or give them a call at 402-590-5800.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. We have a surprise guest. Always look forward to surprises. Before we bring my new friend on, segment 2 of the Adam Carriker Show here on The Ticket is sponsored by our good friends at Mulberry Barbecue with two locations now at 11th and Cornhusker. And as of now, this month, open at 61st and Apples Way, right off Highway 2 by Lowe's. Both locations are open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try the burn-in sandwich, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, a full slab of ribs, a half-smoked chicken, and much, much more. Ladies and gentlemen, get incredible sides and get fueled for lunch today or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker, and now also at 61st and Apples Way, just off Highway 2 by Lowe's. Now I want to bring on my new friend, our surprise guest, Mr. James Stewart of Tipsy Tina's. How you doing, my friend?
Good, Nathan.
Didn't you say James? Didn't Jake say James?
James Stewart's a good actor from back in the day, but Nathan Stewart, yeah.
I apologize, Nathan. That's I'm throwing Jake Sorensen under the bus. Even if he told me the right name, he may have told me the right name and I wrote it wrong. I'm still going to throw Jake Sorensen under the bus.
Jake was asking me last week about making a commercial for McKinney's, and I come in here today and asked if he got us done, and he doesn't. So I was like, well, you gave me a hard time about giving you information and you can't get my commercial done. So we'll just kind of
it's all good. It's all good. Nathan, sorry about that,
you're good.
Nathan. All right, so we started asking you about basketball, so we can chat basketball, but you went straight to baseball. All right, and obviously Nebraska baseball got some decently high expectations this year, but some frustrations over the weekend versus Louisiana. What are your thoughts on the baseball season so far?
It's been a lot of highs and a lot of lows. It's very inconsistent. I feel like there's times our pitching staff has looked great, and then sometimes I don't know who we're throwing out there, to be honest. We allowed 10 runs in the second game of the doubleheader, and then first game was 1-4. So it's a little bit closer, but I don't know. I don't know why it's hard for us to go play in warm weather. I mean, I know those warm weather teams have advantage over us, and hopefully they get it figured out before a Big Ten play.
Because the bats, not for the softball team, they're hitting the home runs like crazy. They're setting records. But for baseball, having a hard time getting the bats going. The hoop, somebody put a lid on both hoops last night. Like, how do we get the ice off our bats and the lids off our hoops here in Lincoln, Nebraska?
I don't know. The basketball game, what was it, like 25-23 at halftime?
Yeah, 49-46. So basically the same in the second half.
I don't know what was happening there. I mean, there was a good atmosphere in the arena. Even at both my restaurants downtown, we had a great atmosphere. People before the game. I mean, I feel like we filled the place up, and I don't know. It's just, I think with all those sports lately, it's just like so up and down. I mean, how do we go score 70 points, or 80 points in one game, and the next game we just can't. There's no momentum. It's just, I don't know if it's a locker room thing or what.
How do you think they find that consistency? Because we've talked about that C word a lot on this show. How do you think they find it?
I don't know. And it's just like, if I feel like when they really want to play defense, their offense just goes away. And they can't do both sides of the ball. I mean, at the beginning of the year, I felt like our defense was great. We could score some points, especially like the UCLA game and some of those other ones. And then we beat two ranked teams, and then we lose another 3 in a row. And it's just
Yeah, here's what I know from my vast experience of playing 2 years of high school basketball. When you're really going all out on defense, it can affect your offensive game because it takes a lot of energy. There's a lot of there's reasons why a lot of times, even if they're one of your better defenders, you won't put your top scorer on the other team's top scorer because it's going to drain your top scorer of his energy. I don't know. Do you think there's any of that, or am I just grasping at straws here? What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, I think some of the guys that are playing a really good defense aren't scoring the points that I don't think normally do, like Hoiberg. I mean, Hoiberg hit a couple of 3-pointers and stuff last night, but I feel like he's our, Charlie Hustle out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. And I kind of thought like a couple of years ago when we brought Doc Sandler in as an assistant, I really thought we were going to get that defense better. And then after he left, it was actually surprising. Our defense got better after he left. And I don't know if they were just opening up and letting them run more.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's been frustrating to say the least. They got to get something going. I mean, I know they're probably a sure in for the NIT right now, but if they can win, hopefully.
Not what we're rooting for.
No. I don't even know who we play on Saturday. I know it's at 1:00.
I believe it's Minnesota. Is that right, Jake?
Yep.
Yeah, Minnesota.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe we win the next. We have 3 games left. Maybe win the next 2 or 3. Maybe win 1 or 2 in a tournament. Maybe gets us to the NCAA tournament. I mean, I don't know. I kind of felt like we were for sure NCAA tournament team a month ago, and I don't see it anymore.
Had we won last night, Jake said multiple times yesterday, if we beat Michigan, he thinks we're in. Doesn't matter what happens the rest of the year.
Quad 1 wins,
it's crazy.
Yeah, there's no reason why we shouldn't be.
If we get in, I feel like, I don't want to say it doesn't matter who we're matched up against, but this team has shown they can beat really, really good freaking basketball teams. So if we can just get in, you never know what can happen. I actually saw this yesterday. All right, someone on X, and I screenshot it and cut off their name, so I'm sorry I can't give a shout out to who it is. I'll do it better next time when I screenshot. But they said just had the general manager of Pinnacle Bank Arena spoke with him. He expressed some real optimism talking about the atmosphere at Pinnacle Bank. He expressed some real optimism, even confidence that Lincoln will be in the NCAA men's basketball site when they next submit a bid, especially after landing the AVCA First Serve event. So basically, we could be a location for an upcoming NCAA men's basketball tournament game.
Awesome.
Dude,
that would be, and especially for the community down here, and especially everyone in the Haymarket, that'd be awesome. I mean, you look how much business they brought to Omaha when they've done the tournaments and stuff like that. It helps a lot, especially not having a spring game this year. Maybe.
Oh yeah,
I would like some extra revenue down there
for sure.
But no, I think especially with now the extra hotels that they built down here, I think that was one of the issues.
Yep.
Because I know when they brought up when they put some bids in before, when I had worked with like some of the chamber and some stuff, and when they put those bids, that was the biggest concern for the NCAA tournament was we didn't have enough hotels. And we'll have 2 more done, maybe 3 by the end of the year.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's a big difference maker if you're trying to figure out, hey, we're going to host this basketball tournament or this baseball, whatever, a bowl game. I don't think Lincoln will have a bowl game, but you never know. Like, that's a big deal. Can you house a bunch of people so that we can make a lot of money? Let's be real.
There's
That's how
like
it
a
is.
minimum. I can't remember what the NCAA makes you have for hotel rooms for that. And that's why Omaha's always got it, because they have so many in that area for the World Series and stuff like that.
All right, man. Talk to me about Tipsy Tina's. What do you want people to know? Where can they find you? Where are you located? Give them all the necessary info, my friend.
All right. We're in the Haymarket. We open up every day at 11 o'clock. Our kitchen is open till 11 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Sundays, we open at 11, but we do close our kitchen at 10. We do offsite catering. Hopefully, with this nice weather, by the end of the weekend, we can have our patio open.
Yes.
Patio holds about 75 people. We'll be ready for everyone for the basketball game on Saturday. And of course, once baseball season kicks off, we always have a good baseball crowd there. We have about 20 street tacos on our menu, 3 or 4 different salads. We got churros. We got fried ice cream. One thing that people do love about our menu is all a la carte.
Okay.
So you can just,
I like
if you
that.
just want one taco, you can just get one taco.
I like that.
You don't have to do like a combination. So we got everything. We got vegetarian options like sweet potato tacos. Also got a black bean tacos. They also a very good vegetarian option. Got shrimp, mahi-mahi, carne asada. We got our Memphis tacos, which is a beef brisket. It's really good. I brought down here a couple of times. The guys have liked.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I was going to say, you guys have catered here, right?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is
every
delicious.
Tuesday I bring down tacos.
I was going to say, it is delicious. It is good stuff. Go check them out. Tipsy Tina's. And I got one last question before I let you get out of here. It's you brought up baseball, okay? And I've actually been holding on to this for a few days. You remember John Rocker, the old crazy Braves pitcher? I freaking
Braves,
love him.
Yeah.
All right. So apparently he's going to fight Pat Mahomes' dad, who's a former Major League Baseball player himself. All right. So he put out on Twitter talking about John Rocker. Day 1 of training. Pat Mahomes Sr. will wish he never effed with me after April 18th. Apparently that's the day of the fight. And to Mahomes Jr.'s team trying to cancel this fight, stay out of my effing way. He didn't say effing, but you get the point. If this fight happens,
I didn't even hear about this.
I didn't either. But who you got winning if this fight happens? Rocker or Pat Mahomes Sr.? I'm going with Rocker because he's off his rocker.
I just think he's just a hothead. I mean, some of the things that he said, what was it about when they were doing the thing about what he say about the subway and the people in New York City and all that stuff. I don't know. Mahomes is a pretty skinny guy. I think Rocker got some weight on him.
So Rocker's been working. There's a picture with that dude. He is jacked. He's jacked. Now that doesn't always translate to function, but he looks intimidating.
Well, that's what that was like one of the things about him when he was playing. He said he was on steroids. That's why he was such a hothead.
Rumor and innuendo. Well, I don't think much has changed according to what I just saw and read. Part of the reason I love him, though.
So, is it on TV or Netflix or what?
I have no idea. All I know is what I just read and what I just saw from his X account. I got to do a deeper dive into it, but I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, no, I would love to see that. I mean, it might go one round, but that
might be all they got. All right, my man. I appreciate you taking the time to join me. Ladies and gentlemen, check out Tipsy Tina's. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solutions offers fleet services, as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions, 2024 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln. Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
In today's digital world, you can never be too cautious when it comes to your security. Cyber attacks are affecting more businesses every day. At Hamilton Business Technologies, we understand the stress and impact a cyber attack can have, not just on your bottom line, but on your ability to serve your customers and protect their trust. That's why we are passionate about safeguarding your business. From real-time threat monitoring to advanced security protocols, we help keep your data safe, allowing you to focus on what matters most. Hamilton Business Technologies, real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket. Attention all wing fans! Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today at 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village. Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in the winter, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep your clubs out year-round. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues begin in February. Get signed up today. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex at West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
What's going on, fans? This is Lexi Rodriguez, four-time All-American at Nebraska and now proud member of Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League One Volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering us on in the stands. Visit LOVBOMA.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action this season. Go Big Green!
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Wall-to-Wall Wine & Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall-to-Wall Wine & Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
At Planet Fitness, we're declaring it. This is the year of getting stronger. And future stronger you can get started now by saving $28 or more when you join today. You in? We have all the best in-class equipment you could ever need to keep stepping it up. And free fitness training to help you mix up your routine. Plus, most clubs are open 24 hours. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends February 28th. See Home Club for details.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. You just never know what's going to happen. That was a great conversation with Nathan, and it's intriguing because we talked with him throughout the break about how the spring game not happening and what they do in place of it has a gigantic effect on the local businesses here in this community. So hopefully they're able to generate revenue, not just for the university and the football program and NIL, et cetera, but also for the businesses here locally. Shout out to Nathan for joining us and Tipsy Tina's as well. All right, we got two more clips from the Dannen interview, and at the top of the hour, we will be going through Matt Rhule's interview, and he basically talks about a bunch of things, a plethora of things. Amongst them is what he needs to do to be a successful coach here at Nebraska. But let's top off that Dannen interview. This next one is intriguing to me. It's intriguing to me for two things. Number one, it's about independent contractors, and players are going to have to do their own taxes. And I will tell you right now, doing your own taxes when you play in multiple states is a little bit trickier than you think it is. And being an independent contractor, I mean, they've never had health insurance and eye care and all those types of natures, all those things of that type of nature. But businesses that do not have full-time employees and have independent contractors, it saves them a lot of money because you don't got to cover those things. So I was intrigued by this clip because it's things I've experienced. And if you've ever been an independent contractor, you can kind of relate. But go ahead, roll that Dannen clip.
I think it'll be much like NIL is today. They would be independent contractors. They'd receive money. There'd be a normal 1099. There'd be tax taken out, if you're over $600 in total. And then they're on their own when they when they go to file their taxes. It's also my understanding that FERPA privacy rules will prevent the individual numbers for student athletes from being public, much like, we don't know who's on a partial scholarship and who's on a full scholarship. There'll be numbers float around, rumor, but we will not be releasing them publicly.
So the independent contractor thing, I mean, like I said, that was only intriguing to me because if you got a full-time job where certain things are covered, health insurance, et cetera, college football players have never really had that. You got a doctor on site. You've got someone on site who basically handles all those needs in general. But what was intriguing to me was the taxes part. When I got to the NFL, I mean, my first preseason game ever was like up in Minnesota. You got to pay taxes in Minnesota. Then we come back to St. Louis. You got to pay taxes in Missouri, obviously. Then the third game was out in Oakland. You got to pay taxes in California. And everywhere that you play, Arizona, Washington, where the Cardinals and the Seahawks were in our division, that's not easy to do. So they're basically all going to have to get a tax guy. I don't know if this has dawned on anybody, but you have to pay taxes in every state where you work. And if you're being paid, that's considered work. You have to do taxes. You can do it yourself. Good luck with that. You got to get somebody who knows what they're doing beyond just typical taxes. And because there's certain ways you can do it that I don't understand, which is why I got a tax guy. There's certain ways you can do it that make it easier, that can actually save you money, but it exponentially complicates doing things that student athletes have never had to deal with before. Paying taxes on income and being an independent contractor. They kind of could have called that one. But the intriguing thing to me was how that's going to affect student athletes. Anyone making over $600 has to file for taxes in every state that they play. I don't know. Is that something that was interesting to you at all, or is it just because it was me and I've had to deal with this in the past?
No, yeah, I think that's understandably interesting. I was just kind of surprised they said, once they give it to them, they're just kind of on their own. I would think there would be.
That was my point. Yeah.
Which is, I get it, but hopefully there's kind of a system of hey, it's not necessarily a tax guy, but thing called TurboTax. Just gotta get at least have a little class and tell them, okay, this is the right way to push it. I don't necessarily like the phrasing. We're just gonna leave them on their own. Also interesting that moving forward, we would not know who gets paid what, which I think is probably better for everybody's mental health.
So that's a great point. Not knowing what everyone's getting paid, unlike pro athletes, you can basically know what the contract is or the overarching themes of the contract. I will say this. Anytime you look at a pro athlete's contract, look at the guaranteed money. The overinflated big number is not reality. The guaranteed money is more reality. Okay? Because most escalators within a contract are not realistic. Like I had an escalator in one of my contracts that if I led the team in interceptions, I got X amount of money. Like, okay, that seems realistic. You might as well just say, hey, if he leads the team in field goals, like none of that was going to happen. So pay attention to the guaranteed money. But when he says they're basically on their own, I'm going to be honest, that's a terrible idea. That is terrible. So you got all these kids who are going to have more money than they've ever had at a younger age than they've ever had it. Because all you hear about kids who first get to pro sports is these young kids struggled, never had money, have a hard time dealing with it. Now they're younger. Now they're getting big money. Some of them more than people in the NFL, depending on who you are. Carson Beck, Jeremiah Smith, etc. And now you're completely on your own for taxes at a much younger age. That's a bad idea. They need to have someone on hand to help them, in my humble opinion. All right, last thing. This one could be interesting. It's the headline you sent me, because I sent you all these clips, and I was like, I don't remember each one specifically and individually. So you sent me a headline for this. It says Dannen concessions. If I remember correctly, it's different things that'll be offered as far as food. I believe he talks about alcohol sales in this thing. We'll see. Go ahead and roll that clip there, Jake.
Now that we have a concessionaire in Aramark, they were on campus this week, and we have a subgroup task force because we brought in outside security, Homeland Security, to come in and evaluate all of our security procedures and to help us prepare for alcohol. And then what is best practice with alcohol? Aramark has transitioned 3 schools from no alcohol to alcohol, including the University of Iowa a few years ago. So they've got experience in that, but they were first in this week. And figured out exactly how it sets up, where it sets up. Part of what we want to make sure of is that as we make investments in the infrastructure, those aren't investments we're going to tear out when the stadium project is done and just eat that money. So there are areas we will be able to invest in, significantly now. Areas may feel a little more portable now until the stadium's done, and those renovations get done with the stadium project.
can we expect, though, a lot of new vendors and food options? I mean, with a new company coming in, I mean, how food's always a popular, like, what can we expect?
Oh, I sure hope so. I sure expect a lot of different options. There'll be a lot of beer options. There will be other options that are in cans, I'm sure, wine and hard drinks and things like that. The one thing that the athletic department has the right to do is review the pricing, which is, I think, is an important thing, because the idea with all of this wasn't to get in and gouge everybody with, hey, now we're doing the concessions, let's charge twice what we used to charge before, but keep pricing as similar as it was before. I did tell the concessions providers I'm less concerned with the cost of alcohol. I'm more concerned with the cost that of the products that, frankly, all 86,000 people are going to partake in, and not let's not go crazy. Let's try to keep things status quo wherever we can keep things status quo, and grow by growing with new products, the alcohol sales, and in areas that we haven't really contemplated before.
All right, what's your reaction? First of all, shout out to Sean and Sam, who did a phenomenal interview. I mentioned that yesterday, but we're running clips again today. I want to give a shout out to them. But what's your reaction when you hear Dannen's thoughts on alcohol, new options pertaining to food, and everything else he mentioned?
Yeah, it is interesting, and again, I kind of just like the way he answers stuff. Like, is there going to be a lot more options? I hope so.
He's very point blank. I like it.
I don't know.
I like it.
But yeah, certainly hoping so. It's going to be different. It's going to be kind of exciting to kind of have those different options. I'm not a drinker, so it doesn't do much for me there. But I know a lot of people. Nebraska's the last. A lot of people are really concerned about that. Nebraska's the last Big Ten team to get into alcohol in the stadiums. As far as what I could tell, it didn't. I didn't see too many terrible events across the Big Ten. This past year, there might be a few more people that have to be corralled or taken downtown or whatever it might be. But I don't think it'll be a giant deal, and it's a way to make a lot of money for Nebraska moving forward. So, and then obviously you focus on the good part, like you said, is trying to keep the food cost at bay while giving you more options. Who would disagree with that?
Yeah, that's actually the part that excited me the most. I want more options without more cost. I like that the most. Okay, so regardless of how you feel about the alcohol inside the stadium, like, there were third grade parents at a boys basketball game that threw hands. So when you talk about events or things happening at sporting events, they don't serve alcohol there. And so it's just about how people choose to conduct themselves, regardless of the age, regardless of the venue, regardless of the level of competition. And yes, alcohol can influence you one way or the other sometimes. But for me, like, it was an all-out brawl, Jake. I know the guy who was trying to deal with the repercussions and the cops afterwards, and I was just like, good Lord. Hopefully we can avoid that at Memorial Stadium. We've been pretty good about it so far. Some of the classiest fans in America. But I thought that was very intriguing, especially for me. And I'm a guy who's lost 25 pounds. I got 5 more pounds to go. I'm finally having some success. The scale is being less of a raging a-hole to me. So I appreciate that, Mr. Scale. But that was actually what stood out to me the most. We already knew the alcohol was coming and whatnot. We've discussed Runza, Valentino's, and hopefully more options in the future as far as what you can eat in Nebraska football games. When we come back, we're going to be dissecting Matt Rhule's most recent national interview and what he believes he needs to do to be a successful coach here at the University of Nebraska. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Psst. You know what's better than waking up early to go to the airport? Sleeping in. Lucky for you, the lines at the Lincoln Airport are so short and our service is so fast. You won't need to sacrifice precious beauty sleep to get here hours before your flight. So, go ahead, sleep in. You deserve it, and choose the airport that helps you relax. LNK, make flying easy.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call John Henrys at 402-435-5555 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-435-5555.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Saturday, Nottingham Forest plays Man City at 6:30 a.m., followed by Crystal Palace versus Ipswich Town at 9 a.m. To cap off the Saturday action, Wolves plays Everton at 2 p.m. On Sunday, Tottenham plays Bournemouth at 9 a.m., followed by Man United versus Arsenal at 11:30 a.m. You can find all this and more at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket, your place for English Premier League soccer, located at 8th and P.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
At Planet Fitness, we're declaring it. This is the year of getting stronger. And future stronger you can get started now by saving $28 or more when you join today. You in? We have all the best in-class equipment you could ever need to keep stepping it up. And free fitness training to help you mix up your routine. Plus, most clubs are open 24 hours. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends February 28th. See Home Club for details.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Attention comedy fans, get ready for a night of non-stop laughs at the brand new Howler House Comedy Club. Brought to you by the team behind Kincaidor Brewing, Sideshow Spirits, and Beer House, this underground comedy experience is happening beneath Beer House in the heart of the Haymarket. Enjoy Jason Vest and Layla Ingalls from The Kill Tony Show, as well as Will C this Friday. Shows are at 6:30 and 9 p.m. Buy your tickets today at beerhousene.com for the brand new Howler House Comedy Club, opening this Friday at 8th and P.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at doorsplusllc.com or give them a call at 402-590-5800. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. We've actually got 4 clips. Jake and I realized that we played 2 of these clips last week, so we have 4 clips remaining for Matt Rhule's most recent national interview that we want to go through. Also, Abby Barmore will be joining us at 12:30. Jake, go ahead and roll that first clip, and then you and I will both react to Coach Rhule's comments.
It still comes down to the player saying, hey, what's the best fit for me? What's the best opportunity for me? You know, the days of teams loading up and having a great second team, because that's usually the difference, right? The best programs have the most depth, but now teams are going to buy away their depth. Hey, why be a second string guy there and make $200,000? Come be a starter for us. Maybe it's not as good a program. Maybe it's not as good a league, but come be a starter for us and make $500,000. And not many kids, some kids will, but not many kids are going to turn down, you know, that much of an opportunity change. And so it's really going to come down to who's the most creative.
There's the betterment for the player individually. There's what's best for a program collectively. There's what's best for a league. Then there's what's best for college football. I've found, in my opinion, that those don't always perfectly overlap. So case in point, let's say over at Pate State, I've built this dominant roster and I got championship caliber depth in the old way of doing things. Then the new way of doing things comes and my 2s and my 3s are bought out from under me for probably 2 or 3 times what they're worth, but there's desperation in the marketplace. That's great for that player that he just got that money. It is great for the program that they had the resources allocated to be able to come do that. It's not good for me because I just lost my championship caliber depth.
So when you hear that, what do you think? My initial reaction is this is good for Nebraska, but go ahead. What do you think?
Yeah, I think, you know, it just kind of plays out like we've seen. I like Matt Rhule kind of like going ahead and just kind of saying it and putting it out there is that, you know, there's different value to every guy, and this can be different based on what your needs are and you know, what situation you are on your team. I mean, people kind of think about the spring game and what's going on. Maybe why do this? We're seeing some other schools do it. I think part of it's year 3. It's time for results. Like they're not gonna say, well, yeah, this could happen, but we'll figure it out in a couple of years. No, you got to figure out now what your strategy is moving forward. And it's kind of changing year by year, and it's kind of on the fly. But they're doing everything they can to be one step ahead of competition. That's what they got to do.
I agree with everything you said. My additional thoughts would be, and it was something David Pollock said when I interviewed him, and Matt Rhule kind of echoed it. Like it used to be that Georgia and Bama would just load up first-round draft picks on the 1 deep, the 2 deep, future first-round draft picks on the 3 deep, 5 stars all over the place. Now all of a sudden, you've got a school like Nebraska or somebody else who can call and say, hey, we're trying to get better. We're trying to get better now. We're willing to spend to bring in good football players. You want to play, you want to come make an impact. Dylan Raiola leaving from Georgia to come here. There's other guys as well. Come here because we're going to build something, and you can be a part of that class that turns things around, and you can become a legend for eternity in the state of Nebraska anytime you come back as an alumni. So for me, I think it's going to disperse the talent more. It's going to create more parity. It's going to help schools like Nebraska. There's actually a lot of things about the new modern college football that help Nebraska, from more teams getting in the college football playoff to the talent being more dispersed to being able, I mean, Nebraska's got a decent amount of money. They were one of the top 7 teams in the entire country when it came to spending NIL money. They had a top 5 portal class, number 1 in the Big Ten, number 20 recruiting class in the entire country. Jeremiah Johnson. Is it Johnson or Jones? Do you know? Rhule's press conference was a little delayed on National Signing Day.
Okay, yeah.
Because,
I think it's Jones.
Yeah, Jeremiah Jones. Because basically Missouri called and had almost taken him away, Jeremiah Jones. They had to counter, and they were able to secure him and keep him here. And so this is the new way of college football. I think there's a comment out there, I know. Basically, tampering doesn't exist. Like, it exists is what Matt Rhule meant, but nobody pays attention to it. Like, it doesn't exist because it's just become accepted. This illegal thing that should not happen just happens, and everybody accepts it. And there's proof and there's evidence, and everyone knows it's happening, but it's part of college football. I'm not advocating for doing things that are legal. I'm simply saying more spots in the college football playoff actually helps Nebraska. I'm simply saying dispersing the talent across the country a little bit more, and more schools being able to offer more opportunities to the talented players helps Nebraska. There are things about the way college football is going that I don't like at all as a general college football fan. As a Nebraska guy, I'm like, I might actually help Nebraska. that might actually help the Huskers. That might actually help us. I don't know. Do you see it any differently, Jake? Because I've been a lifelong college football fan my entire life. I've been a lifelong Nebraska fan my entire life. So sometimes I look through things as a college football fan type lens, and sometimes I'll look through it as a Nebraska football alumni fan, a Husker for life type lens. Sometimes there's crossover. Sometimes I get two completely different results in my head because what may be good for the goose may not be good for the gander, but what might not be good for college football might be good for Nebraska at times. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, I can definitely see it. Again, I'm going to be the downer like I did the other day with your question.
Stop doing that.
But, there have been things in college football that have been there to help Nebraska before. So while I do see some things that say, hey, that can help Nebraska, you need the right coach. You need the right players. You need, you need to build a winning foundation, and then you can kind of move from there. Because I'll always argue, it just kind of coincided that Nebraska's worst 20 years in football was in their easiest divisions. The Legends and Leaders was pretty tough, but the Big 12 North and Big 10 West for 20 years, Nebraska should have had a shoe-in to go to their conference championship game year in and year out. There's some years, 2007, pretty good Big 12 North, but there's very few years.
My senior year was 2006.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a distinction between 06, 07. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just saying Missouri, Kansas, some of those teams are pretty good in 07.
Mm-hmm.
So there's years that would be the outlier, but for the most part, having been in the Big 12 North and the Big 10 West, should have favored Nebraska for 20 years, and they didn't really do anything with it. So, yeah, there's some things that can help Nebraska, but, you still got to do most of the heavy lifting, obviously.
You make a great point, and you're right. It brought me down. Sorry. Dang it. Facts don't care about feelings. Sometimes don't let the facts get in the way of a good story, right, Jake?
That's right.
But there's always pluses and minuses. To me, the difference is I truly believe Matt Rhule is going to do things the classy way. He's going to try to do them the right way. And while not originally a Nebraskan, he understands the way that they want to do things here. The biggest thing is having success and representing the university with class. And those are the things. He's the coach that gives us as good a chance to do this as anybody, in my humble opinion, since 2002. All right, that's my humble opinion on that topic. I haven't asked about the text line yet this show. Going all the way back to basketball, et cetera, is there any, and obviously what we're talking about now, is there anything since the start of the show that we should address on the text line? You have a smirk on your face. Oh, boy.
Oh, well, still people just, mostly from basketball.
Okay.
So Dave Braska says Bear Case shot was short all night, so I wish it wasn't him with the last shot. That being said, he's 6'10". You do a lob pass like that, you get a good shot off.
Big target.
So I think that's kind of where they were there. Couple people kind of thinking of how to make the dance. Jason Baird says one in the Big Ten tourney would be very helpful. Well, Bill says they beat Minnesota and Iowa and they are in. 0278 says mini brackets today still got us a 10 seed, so that's encouraging.
Okay.
And Elsie's dad disagrees with you. He says 0% chance Bryce would have got a foul call in that late drive.
Oh, okay. To each their own. Anything rule-wise or Dannen-wise?
Not yet.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead. Anything else on that particular clip?
No.
All right. Let's go on to the next Matt Rhule clip here. And the headline you sent me, college football management, unlike the NFL. So I've talked about how there are similarities to college football and the NFL. Actually, how I've always phrased it, correct me if I'm wrong, Jake, is it's getting more and more like the NFL. I've never actually said it's like the NFL or exactly like. I've said it's getting more and more like. Is that correct? Have I always phrased it that way?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and roll the clip then.
You've been talking about spring a whole lot. Everyone up there in Lincoln's talking about the spring game, and is it going to exist in its classic form? Whatever the idea said this. Okay, so there's this common talking point out there that college football is just like the NFL these days, which sounds good if you don't have to defend the viewpoint. But if anyone challenges you on that, like if someone were to say, oh man, college football is just like the NFL, and I say, give me some examples. Well, free agency is not like the NFL. Salary cap at this point that we're talking is not like the NFL. Enforcement is not like the NFL. Overall equity of structure is not like the NFL. So you've been a head coach at both levels. You just said, it's not really like the NFL. Like, just because we pay players today, and just because it may look a little bit more like the NFL than it used to, is there not still like a night and day difference between the Saturday and the Sunday game?
Night and day. And I mean, there, as you said, it looks a little bit more like it. You do have to assign value to players. You can't just all go. I remember when I left college and went to the NFL. In the NFL, you get one first-round draft pick. In college, Alabama doesn't get one 5-star. They can get 8 of them. So that's where the disparity occurs. So I was like, hey, let's go to the NFL where everything is built on parity. It's not going to be that way. I think one of the biggest things is that because there is no contract, because they're just player promise contracts that the player can leave at any point, what you're going to see is I might assign a value to a player of, hey, I think a starting right guard is worth X amount of dollars. That in the NFL, that's kind of consistent. But in college, another team might say, you know what, we can't get these guys, so we're going to pay 3 times that value for your player. And so really your value comes down to what you're willing to pay for somebody. It's completely different. So all the salary cap managing type people, you'll need to do all that. But at the end of the day, at the core part of the day, it's going to be about each coach having to make a decision every year about which players am I willing to keep, which players am I willing to walk away from. And am I thinking of this in a 1-year increment? Am I thinking of it in 3-year increments? If they ever did go to contracts, it would be completely different. And then if everything gets leveled, it still comes down to recruiting. It still comes down to the player saying, hey, what's the best fit for me? What's the best opportunity for me?
So the reason I say it's more and more like the NFL than it ever has been is for obvious reasons. People are getting played. There's literally going to be a salary cap coming up. There's obvious connections. Okay. I guess if you want to say the transfer portal is like free agency, I mean, kind of, sort of, in a way that you can leave a team and go to another team. There's a million ways that it's different, the transfer portal from NFL free agency. But that's the reason I never said it is like the NFL. It's more and more like it for obvious reasons. But he made some great points there. Like, the first one that stood out to me that I'd not heard anyone else say was each team gets 1 first-round draft pick, barring trades, etc. Nobody's telling Georgia or Bama, hey, you get 1 5-star. How crazy would that be? If everyone got like 1 5-star across the country, and then the next you had like the second round, and you could all get maybe a second 5-star or a 4-star. Like, how different would the world be? So college football is completely different in that aspect of you can have lopsided rosters when it comes to talent and depth on these rosters, but we've talked about how it might be more dispersed than it's ever been just because there's opportunities elsewhere. But the ability to evaluate a position, what position is worth more than another position? What player is worth more than another player? And then, are you trying to keep him for a year? Are you trying to keep him for 3 years? How's the contract situation looking like? The revenue sharing situation, how's that going to impact this? The evaluation process that they have to do when they're putting values on different positions, on different players, offensive tackle versus guard. And then you have this other school that comes in and says, you know what, we really need a freaking guard. In the NFL, I guess the equivalent to that would be, hey, we'll give you our 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th round pick for your 2nd round pick so we can get a guard. That'd be a ridiculous trade, but just an example. Here, you just throw a ton more money at them, especially if you've got the money. So to me, it's this constant of, all right, this is how much money we have. This is, I mean, there's like, 25 5-stars in any given year. Then you got the transfer portal. And how do we disperse this? And how long do we have this guy? And how's this going to work? And dude, it's like, I am not jealous of any college football coach. The job that they have to do now. And when I think about it, for me, you have to be so good at allocating when and where you spend your money, who you spend it on. Can you get them to sign a contract for more than a year and get these kids to stick around for multiple years? Developing young players and then them going somewhere else because somebody else offers them more money. I mean, this whole thing is just kind of crazy. To me, the big thing is you have to be great at evaluating which positions do we need the most, which positions do we value the most, where do we want to allocate the majority of our money, and which players are worth it. And how do we get them to stay here for more than just a freaking year? I don't know. What do you think, Jake?
Well, I just like the part about how, the NFL set up for parity in college football is not, but I argue that's best. That's what's best about college football is the upsets, is the big, the odds being against you. And NFL, you can have upsets, but you're still just like, well, yeah, I mean, they all play with each other within 3 or 6 points anyway. Yep. So, so that's what I love about college football. And yes, what has changed is that maybe money is the driving force, but there's always been a driving force. They could try as much as they want to get parity in college football. They're not. It's going the opposite way. Like, conferences are getting bigger, but I'm glad for that, again, for the reasons I said. But again, now that reason is money. But no matter what you have, when you don't have a structured, like you said, first round draft pick, here's the amount of roster guys you can, here's the cap, salary cap. When you don't have that, they might have been choosing because of coach. They might have chosen because of weather. They might have been choosing because of school, whatever it was in the past. Now it might be money, but just the way that it's structured is not set up for parity. And I love it.
I like that part at the end. So I agree with you as far as it's one of the reasons I've always been more of a college football fan than an NFL fan, because I love the upsets. I love, like, a 3-9 team on any given Sunday could beat a 9-3 team and you're not shocked. You move on to the next game. In college football, if you've got a team that's like 2-7 playing a 7-2 team, there's going to be games across the country that are interesting and come down to the wire, and all of a sudden you get this big time upset between two teams where clearly the 7-2 team's probably better, just not on this particular day. And that's one of the things I love about college football. I love the upsets, to Jake's point, and the disparity in talent. They've been trying to have parity in college football for Lord knows how long. It's why we got rid of certain things, and it's why we went to 85 scholarship limits, to try to disperse the scholarships and the players amongst more teams. And now we're at 105 and there's no walk-ons. Like, and to Jake's point, no, the Big Ten and SEC don't care about parity. They care about destroying every other conference and taking over college football. That's what their ultimate goal is. Like, I think college football is going to look drastically different come 2031, and the Big Ten and SEC are going to have a lot to do with it, in my humble opinion. But unless you got anything else real quick, we're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Abby Barmore. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Saturday, Nottingham Forest plays Man City at 6:30 a.m., followed by Crystal Palace versus Ipswich Town at 9 a.m. To cap off the Saturday action, Wolves plays Everton at 2 p.m. On Sunday, Tottenham plays Bournemouth at 9 a.m., followed by Man United versus Arsenal at 11:30 a.m. You can find all this and more at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket, your place for English Premier League soccer, located at 8th and P.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in the winter, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep your clubs out year-round. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues begin in February. Get signed up today. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex at West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Saturday, Nottingham Forest plays Man City at 6:30 a.m., followed by Crystal Palace versus Ipswich Town at 9 a.m. To cap off the Saturday action, Wolves plays Everton at 2 p.m. On Sunday, Tottenham plays Bournemouth at 9 a.m., followed by Man United versus Arsenal at 11:30 a.m. You can find all this and more at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket, your place for English Premier League soccer, located at 8th and P.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call John Henry's at 402-435-5555 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-435-5555.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Have you heard about Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center? Located at 7555 Pioneers Boulevard, Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center offers compassionate, patient-focused care and provides outpatient surgery services, making it possible to have non-emergency surgery and return home the same day. Advanced Medical Imaging Surgery Center specializes in cardiology, vascular radiology, orthopedics, pain management, and much, much more. Give them a call today at 402-261-1085 or online at amimaging.com.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at doorsplusllc.com or give them a call at 402-590-5800.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. All right, time to bring on our special guest for today. She's a part of Husker Online. She's a Hearst Journalism Award winner, and she covers volleyball, all right, softball, basketball, women's sports, football, recruiting. And I've been told she also co-teaches a class at the University of Nebraska with Dick Sainer, Miss Abby Barmore. How you doing, my friend?
I am doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate you joining me. All right, first question. What is it like teaching a class at the university? And is Nick any good as a teacher or not?
You know what? Nick's actually pretty good. He does a great job. And I wouldn't say we necessarily teach the class, but we do help out and offer our expertise. And I guess I say that with quotes around it, right? Our expertise.
I heard Nick it in your tone. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fun. It's really cool to, get to know the younger generation, and it's a little bit of a pressure, to share with what we've learned over these, last few years doing this. But it's fun. I enjoy it.
All right, so we're going to kind of bounce all over the place because you cover a whole plethora of things. So let's start with volleyball. All right, you actually predicted, and then it came true yesterday, 6'4" middle blocker, Kenna Cogill, all right, would be transferring to Nebraska or committing to the Nebraska. That happened. That came true as of yesterday. What made you believe that Kenna was going to be joining the Big Red, and what can Husker volleyball fans expect to see out of her?
Yeah, so what you're talking about, what I kind of predicted was Nebraska has a Dream Team camp that they do every summer. It's the second weekend of July, and they basically invite what they think is the best, high school volleyball players in the country. There are even some girls that are going to be freshmen in high school, so that's kind of where they get all their recruiting done. But Kenna Cogill did go to that camp in 2022, and she really stood out. She did some really nice things, and I know that she caught Nebraska's eye. And then, fast forward, I guess 3 years later, she's going to be a Husker. She is joining this 2025 class. So she arrives in May, and then she'll be a freshman. But they'll have 6 freshmen now, 16 players on this roster, which is a little bit more than John Cook preferred to carry. But Danny Busboom-Kelly is obviously comfortable with doing that. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But, yeah, Kenna, she's a great player, and she's won at a high level. And her and Terea Sigler, who is also a freshman this year, they played club volleyball together with Arizona Storm, and they won 2 national championships in club, and that's really hard to do. So she's a winner, right? She's tall, she's lengthy, she's athletic. So I think she's a really good addition to this roster.
Yeah, and she's currently rated the number 24 prospect in the class of 2025, right? Everyone's obviously excited about Danny Busboom-Kelly being the new volleyball coach here at the University of Nebraska. What do you anticipate? Because every coach is a little bit different. All right, so what do you anticipate she's going to do similarly, yet a little bit differently than John Cook did for so long? Obviously, everyone anticipates her to have great success, but what do you think she may do just a smidge differently than Coach Cook did, kind of in her own style?
Yeah, I mean, we're already seeing it right now. She's going to have 16 on this roster, and John really preferred to have 14. That was kind of the max that he wanted. So I think that will be a little bit different, but also just I'm not like kind of the way that she interacts with players, because John, like towards the end, right, he was doing TikToks and fun things like that, but Danny's players, they really, really love her, and not saying that John's don't, but I think it's just a different kind of love and respect, right? It's someone who has been there and done that and done at the highest levels. And Danny says she has seen the highest of highs and the lowest of lows of college volleyball, right? She turned Louisville into a winning program, took it to its first 2 national championship games. But yeah, I mean, she's a hardcore competitor, just like John. But I mean, she's going to open up her first game is going to be in PBA, and that is something that John Cook never did.
So you mentioned it. She did some great things at the Louisville program. They weren't bad before she got there. They were 12-18 the season before she arrived as their head coach, but she took them to heights they'd frankly never been before. A couple of number 1 overall seeds, as you mentioned, a couple of national championship matches. What do you think she did at Louisville that worked so well that she can bring with her to Nebraska specifically?
Yeah. Right. I already mentioned, like, she has a great relationship with her players, but like on top of that, she took players who were not as highly recruited probably as Nebraska's, right? They all have basically a bunch of 5-star equivalents on their team. But she took a bunch of players that were good in their own right and made them even better and turned them into, right? They won a bunch of like ACC championships. She turned them into winners. She turned them into All-Americans. So just kind of having developed and I want to say created, but developed a championship program. And at Louisville, they started getting more and more attendance, more attention, more viewership on TV, right? They were ranked higher and higher. So I think that is really going to help her here. She knows the pressure and how important it is at Nebraska volleyball to win, because she played in Nebraska, because she coached in Nebraska as an assistant, but also because how important that was to her when she was running her own program. And towards the end, when she was at Louisville, they did have high expectations. That last year, the Final Four was hosted in Louisville, and there is a lot of pressure to get to the Final Four when you're hosting it in your hometown. And John Cook knows that, right? Like when they hosted in Omaha, he felt pressure the whole year. People would comment about it to him. So I think that is huge for her. She understands the pressure, but she knows how to work under it too.
All right, so we're going to switch gears here just a little bit. Let's go to Nebraska softball. They're 12-4 on the season. They've won 3 games in a row. The bats are lighting up. Those bats are not ice cold. They're heating up. They're setting records when it comes to home runs. They hit 4 home runs in a row the other day, which I don't think I've ever seen in my lifetime. What do you think is one of the reasons, okay, that they're hitting the ball so well? They're putting it in play. They're making great contact. But the other flip side of that is some of their losses been against ranked teams, all against ranked teams, all 4 losses. But they've had a couple of games where they've gone 0-for-13 and 0-for-14 with runners on base and or in scoring position.
Mm-hmm.
How do they keep that consistent in the at-bats that matter the most?
I think that's probably on the top of Rhonda Reville's to-do list this week, is trying to figure out how Nebraska can kind of crack through when they're batting against really good pitchers. They've faced some really good pitchers this year, and they haven't been as successful. But also, like, it is very different because pitchers are different, but it's the same, right? Like, you're still the player that has hit 10 home runs. Ava Kruzak has hit 10 home runs. She leaves the country. Nebraska leads the country with 36 home runs. So just like, keeping after it, but also like don't get down on yourself about it because it keeps happening. But yeah, they're just not getting hits in really important moments. They've lost to 4 ranked teams. That's the only teams that they've lost to. But it was because they couldn't get hits late or even throughout the game. Like Duke, they had, a lot of players in scoring position. It was 0-0, and they went to extra innings, and they gave up 3 runs in the top of the 8th, and it was over from there. So, yeah.
All right. So I played a little bit of baseball growing up, and when you're a home run hitter, sometimes the big situation comes up, and sometimes all that situation calls for is just putting the ball in play. And a lot of times, if you're unable to just put the ball in play, that's where you'll see the 0 on the left-hand side of the column and like a 13 or 14 on the other hand side of the column when it comes to runners on base or runners in scoring position. So sometimes just switching the mindset a little bit situationally, just put that ball in play in those key situations and make the defense make the play. All right, talk to me about Jordy Ball, one of the best in America. We already knew that. She comes back from the knee injury. She's pitching good. She's hitting good. She's playing really, really well so far. What are your thoughts? What's your take on Jordy Ball so far this softball season?
I mean, Jordy has been just as good as everyone has anticipated, which is basically outstanding, right? She has been pitching great. She has 6 home runs. She didn't bat that much at Oklahoma, but she's been hitting pretty much every game here. And she's been playing first base, too, and made some great plays at first base. So she's just an all-around incredible athlete and softball player. But along with that, right, like Jordy has been great in our games, like, for example, like Duke, right, where she was throwing a no-hitter throughout 7 innings. She had 2 of Nebraska's 5 hits, even though they weren't hitting that well. She was getting most of the balls in, and then they lost. So, like, as great as Jordy is, softball is a team sport, and she needs a little bit more support around her. But also, Nebraska has the pieces to do that. They just, need to get going here.
So I got a speculatory question for you because Jordy Ball hit her first ever home run here at Nebraska, not at Oklahoma. You said she didn't bat much there. I believe she's number 2 on the team in home runs. She has one of the highest batting averages. And I know Oklahoma was just freaking loaded. 4 straight national titles. But help me out. Why did she not hit more at Oklahoma? The girl can hit. You got any thoughts or ideas or speculation on why she didn't bat more with the Sooners?
The only thing I can really think of is just Oklahoma's just loaded. Like, and they have been for a long time, but those teams that Jordy was on were outstanding, right? She won 2 national championships there. But also, like, I'm sure she's always been a really good batter, even in high school, but maybe she just really taken this in stride, and maybe she works on it even more in Nebraska, and that has helped her kind of find her flow here.
I always thought it was interesting because the best pitchers I knew growing up, were almost always the best hitters too, yet they get to a higher level way more often than not. They quit hitting, and I'm like, wait, softball is a little bit different, but in baseball, you don't pitch every single day. Like, you can't spend those other days hitting. I never understood why, Shohei Ohtani is beyond a unicorn, but like, why a pitcher can't keep hitting as they're going up the ranks. That never made sense to me. I did both growing up, but I digress. All right, football recruiting. What is the latest news? What is some of the latest intel that people may or may not know that you can share with the fine folks?
Yeah, so with football, they've got some guys that they've got on the radar here. And I would say, like, the most recent one that we've got is cornerback Danny Odem has scheduled his official visits at Nebraska, and he is a 6-foot, 250-pound cornerback from Orlando, but he will be here June 20th to the 22nd, and that'll be really good for Nebraska to get him in because he was He knows Nebraska assistant coach Addison Williams, who's their new quarterback coach. So that will be a good one for them to get in.
Well, Abby, I appreciate you taking the time to join us today. We'd love to have you out again at some point in the near future.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we'll go through those last two clips from Matt Rhule's most recent interview. Don't go anywhere.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
What's going on, fans? This is Lexi Rodriguez, four-time All-American at Nebraska and now proud member of Omaha's newest professional team, Love Omaha Volleyball. League One Volleyball is bringing the heat this year. Don't miss your chance to see Olympians, national players, and national champions right here in Omaha from now through April. We can't wait to see you cheering us on in the stands. Visit lovboma.com to buy single match tickets to see me and Love Omaha Volleyball in action this season. Go Big Green!
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Saturday, Nottingham Forest plays Man City at 6:30 a.m., followed by Crystal Palace versus Ipswich Town at 9 a.m. To cap off the Saturday action, Wolves plays Everton at 2 p.m. On Sunday, Tottenham plays Bournemouth at 9 a.m., followed by Man United versus Arsenal at 11:30 a.m. You can find all this and more at McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket, your place for English Premier League soccer, located at 8th and P.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. When it comes to gift giving, it's all about the wow factor. And let me tell you, nothing wows quite like jewelry. Whether it's a delicate necklace or a statement ring, jewelry makes the right statement. So if you want to knock her socks off, or anything else for that matter, skip the generic gifts and go straight for the bling. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies. It will be breezy and warm with an afternoon high near 68. Tonight, a slight chance of showers, otherwise partly cloudy, a low near 37. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies and it will be breezy and an afternoon high near 56. Meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. All right. Check out all things The Ticket at theticketfm.com. Also, the social medias, the Tube of You, YouTube, podcast platforms. Check out the Carriker Chronicles on YouTube as well. CarrikerChronicles.com. Thursday, the plan anyways, we can always call an audible. The plan is to do the ticket draft for the alumni, media, whatever we're going to call it, mix here. Flag football game where the spring game would have been. Jake, without giving it away, give it away. Who'd you draft first? If you had the number one pick, who'd you take? Who'd you take?
I don't know. I mean, I think you'd be a pretty good pick. I scouted you a little bit with
you
some
scouted
flag
me.
Football. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You were at our Turkey Bowl this
That's
past
right.
year. I
So,
forgot about
I was
that.
impressed there, but I've been kind of going through my head. Should I take one of the old veterans that won championships, All Americans, or should I take one of the younger guys that is on our staff that might still have a little bit more in them?
Wow. That was such a compliment with an underlying little dig. Adam, you're an old broken down has-been shell of what you used to be. I'm taking Chancellor Brewington. All right, we'll do that on Thursday. At least that's the plan. We'll see what happens by the time Thursday gets here. All right, we got 2 clips. Let's roll that first one of Matt Rhule.
Brady in the lockers. So the old days when I played, if you get on the bus,
Excuse me, I'll start that over. It was halfway.
No, that's okay. I kind of just threw it to you without much of a warning, so my apologies on that. All right, go ahead and roll that clip whenever you're ready there, Jake.
As I'm talking to the team, I can usually hear ding, ding, I can hear everyone's phones kind of going off in the lockers or vibrating in the lockers. So the old days when I played, if you get on the bus, you get back home, you kind of hide for the day, you go in on Monday, you go into meetings, like they're getting feedback on the game right afterwards. And so what we say after the game is probably the most powerful thing. And, I always live by win or lose, do no harm. Like don't do anything that can hurt them in an already hurt state, even worse, but also tell the truth. My last year at Temple, we were picked preseason top 25 and we lost to Army our first game and came back and we were 3-2 and went to Memphis on a Thursday night and we lost. And I'll never forget me starting to say something. I said, guys, I didn't get you ready for this. And I was really upset about the decision we made offensively. We threw the ball 50 times and I'll never forget Jihad Thomas and a couple of guys just telling me to shut up and going off. And that's when I was like, oh, we're about to go on a run. And we won 7 straight. For the last 2 years at Nebraska, sometimes I've given them the opportunity and I've never had anyone go off and say enough. And I started to feel that towards the bowl game. I started to feel like the guys in the locker room starting to be like, hey, this is our team and we're going to find a way to win. So I think those are amazing moments to tell them what went wrong. I mean, sometimes it's, hey, this is how it's going to be. I think sometimes it's better on Monday when you've really had a chance to think about it. Like I can tell you, we lost to UCLA, and I went in that Monday, and I was fire and brimstone. I was back to 20 2013, 14 Temple Matt Rhule, I was like, hey, this is the way it's going to be. But there's a lot to it, and at the end of the day, when you go back to all the things I said earlier, you want a team that fights for their coach. You want a coach that fights for its players. You want players that fight for each other. And so in our darkest moments, we have to be honest. We also have to pull each other together. And again, that's why I always believe it's been 3 years for me to teach a team how to win. I've never taken over a team with a great roster. So I think that's part of it. You're developing the roster, but you're developing the mindset. You're developing the psyche. And when you go through tough losses or the ups and downs of a season like we did, the guys who stick together, they learn to trust each other. And we went out to that bowl game. I mean, it was raining in New York. People are probably like, that was one of the greatest days because I stood there and I had a couple guys on the sideline say, Coach, as we were winning, what's great about this? Everybody that's out here wants to be here. And you only get that when you go through kind of what we went through. So that's why I'm so excited about what'll happen.
So I sent you these clips a few days ago. So I don't always remember exactly what's in them until we get to, I'm going to be honest, there's a lot to unpack there. So we've got one more clip after this. We're going to save that for Thursday. There's so much to unpack and a lot of great points made. Number one, the ding, 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 or the vibrations in the locker room, in the lockers immediately following the game. Matt Rhule talked about last spring, how at halftime, guys were, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but they were like almost concerned that they were trending on Twitter. This is something I never had to deal with. I mean, the Facebook, if anybody remembers the Facebook, then they dropped the, just became Facebook, originally came out. MySpace, anybody remember that? No? Okay. MySpace was around. The MSN where you could chat or whatever that thing was called was around. Like, we didn't have to deal with that. So that's something that's a new challenge for today's new athletes. And that's a very real thing that I can understand. What I would also say is twofold. Number one, football's not for everybody. It ain't easy. Okay? It ain't. I recognize the difficulty. I recognize that it's different. I also recognize that football ain't easy. And I would also recognize that I also never got paid as much. So there's a little bit of a give and a take there. So that was my first takeaway. Number two, all right, the guy, I forget his name, I'm trying to think of his name, but the guy at Temple just stood up and basically told Matt Rhule he told him to shut up. And then he basically like ripped into the team and Matt's like, we're about to go on a run. I've never had a guy here do that at Nebraska. Now he said we came close in the bowl game and nobody's ever actually done it. You think back to the great teams. There's almost always, there's like leadership that holds people accountable and says, this is not acceptable. And they are willing to be the bad guy. You watch The Last Dance? Jordan's teammates didn't exactly love him. I just finished watching a 3-part documentary on Kobe Bryant. His teammates didn't exactly love him. I'm not saying go out and be a raging a-hole, but be willing to be the bad guy for the betterment of the team. You need to have that leadership. Hey, it's great if you're going out having a good time. You're forming that bond. You need that. But in practice, in the locker room, in games, you need someone willing to be the bad guy for the betterment of the team. And I thought that was a key thing. Now, he said they were getting closer to doing that coming the bowl game. And the guys at the bowl game, one of the reasons that made that so great is the guys that were there wanted to be there. You can almost tell that throughout the play in that bowl game as well. One of the other things that stood out to me here, UCLA game. He was fire and brimstone. I mean, there was a certain guy on this show, Jake, who talked about, it wasn't you, it was me, who talked about, you just got out coached by a guy who's never been a head coach, never even been a coordinator. So it was funny that he specifically pointed out the UCLA game. I thought that was interesting because to me, that was Indiana. But outside of Indiana was, and they were both following bye weeks, by the way. Both those games were after bye weeks. We got to handle bye weeks better. I was like, that was the roughest game for me to watch from a coaching perspective. And then he talked about that, me personally. But then he talked about that, him being fire and brimstone afterwards. And so to me, those were some of the things that stood out. Like, hey, there's more challenges here with social media and former players being on you. He talked in this interview about former players, giving their take on current players. These current players grew up watching these guys. And sometimes the former players say nice things. He didn't phrase it this way, but I'm paraphrasing because I don't have the quote. They say nice things. Sometimes they don't, and it affects the guys. And then former players on YouTube. I just sat and stared at the screen. Wonder who he's talking about. At least one of the guys. My take has always been, I want Nebraska to win. I root for Nebraska to win. If you win, it's much more enjoyable for me. It's much easier for me to talk about the team. But at the same time, I'm never going to lambaste the University of State, the program that I love. But at the same time, I can't be full of crap. I can only talk about what I see. Regardless of what I root for, I can only talk about what happens. There's challenges that players have never had. There's benefits that players have never had. And if we want to take the next step, it starts with the coaches. It ends with the players and somebody being willing to take that leadership role, whether everybody loves it or not. I tried to keep it quick. I know you're playing the music. Do you have anything?
Just real quick. I did, notice about that player stepping up. I always kind of go back to, and last year they kind of ran through weekly captains. I always thought it's probably best to have 4 captains, whatever it is. Your captains from the beginning. I know it doesn't work with every team. It doesn't iron out that way. But I always think if you want that guy, you name that guy. You put that guy there.
That's a great point. And I've never brought that up. It wasn't a big deal to me. Clearly, Matt Rhule wants to do it that way for a reason. If nothing, here's my favorite way of doing it. You have at least one offensive captain game one. You have one defensive captain, maybe a special teams guy. And then if you want to have a floater based on who's stepping up, maybe mid-season, you promote a 4th guy regardless of what position he plays. Maybe you have weekly captains based on who's playing well lately. But if you want consistent leadership from the guys at the top, I actually agree with what you've said. I don't know that it's a ginormous deal, which is why I've never brought it up, but it's something I've noticed. And now that you bring it up, I'm like, little things like that could matter more than we realize. That's a good point, Jake. Anything else?
No. I only come with one good point a day.
We were talking in the break about how Jake was like, man, Adam, you bring all this positivity. I just bring everybody down. I was like, dude, you got me with your Big 12 North and Big 10 West point. Like, I was like, oh, dang. There's a lot of truth to that. That hurt me today. That hurt me, Jake. All right. Till Thursday. Go, Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the bones.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you